All right. Hello, friends. Welcome back. I didn't do a daily yesterday. I feel bad about it, but I think there's a lot of, for me personally, there's a lot of stress for me to, I know I say we're going to do it daily and all of these things. I mean, I would love to do this every single day at a certain time of every single day. It's just I've got to key that in. That's really what this is. But past couple days. There's been some action. We can see that, steady as she goes here. We see we've got the big movers here. You got Matic, you got Solana, and we've had some substantial moves happening within the past couple days from this region of testing these supports and finding supports and so on and so forth. Volume, we have a lot of volume still, or I would say, let's look here. There's a lot of volume going on. I mean, let me see, I'll try to do a better job of doing this. There's a lot of volume. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of volume. There's a lot of things happening. This is the chart for Ethereum, our dear friend Ethereum, on a 4-hour. Again, each candle represents 4 hours. The Fibonacci's have been built based on previous videos. I think that there's been a little bit of an adjustment, but once we got more data, we were able to put a channel here. And to try to make this as uncluttered as possible, you can see there's a clear channel. You can see that there's a mid-range in the channel. We can see that there's reactions in the channel. So with that and Fibonacci levels, we have clear. Oh, this is that weird line that I built earlier. You know what? I'm going to take that line off. So with our Fibonacci levels, what we have is we have very clear movements. We can see, let's see, hang on a second. Okay, so we can see that this 0 line on the Fibonacci was a significant area of support. We can see that there was I would call this a pretty fast move on 4-hour candles here to the 0.236. And you can see that there was a clear area of testing that support. And then obviously we have a pretty decent area of buy orders, right? And for the pivots on a 4-hour, we have this region here at the 0.236, a little bit in the 2500 range. It was a very, very quick move within the past. I mean, this was later last night into today. I think I posted something about just finding supports or whatnot. But the other interesting thing that we have here is this channel that was built. You can see that there's action on that channel as well. So what that tells us is that the market in itself, there's a lot of eyeballs on this type of analysis. So the thing that I like to talk about a lot is, support and resistance levels. So to just bake it down into the most simplest way possible is support and resistance levels. That's why we have our fib levels from higher time frames. That's why we create channels without getting too crazy with drawings all over the place. Because again, I mean, I could draw a line here and it's going to tell you, hey, we're going to the moon. You know what I mean? But these horizontals, they're going to give you regions. And you can see there's a clear reaction at this region where we've been here in the past on the way down. So this is, we're in a period of, and always pretty much in a period of, where's the resistance, where's the support? So this was the previous run up. I think, a lot of VeeFriends and a lot of VeeFriends fans started getting involved in the 2000s. I've heard a lot of that in the chat, and this was that run up. So where we are in the time frame right now is trying to find support in this region, checking to see if this truly is resistance. Obviously, it takes time to play out, but you can see. You can see kind of what's happening here. Now, when we dig deep into lower time frame, we're going to see, again, the same thing that we kind of, discussed. I think I posted this chart maybe last night, somewhere in that area, of just looking to find support at the 0.236. The support was confirmed, and then we are trying to figure out, I'll take these off too. We're trying to figure out where is it going. And again, if for anybody that has been following along since the beginning, or since episode 1 with no mic, the entire thought process is where's the support, where's the resistance, and on the run up, instead of just having this state of euphoria that we're going to the moon, we have data. So if we were here last night and finding that we have a possible confirmation as to where the support is, we would also know that what is the possible area of resistance. And again, I mean, these Fibonacci levels were built days and days and days ago. So it almost gives you all the data you need to make decisions. Now, again, and I'll say this all the time, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? I don't know. But what we have here is we have the probabilities. We have the probabilities. We have the action that happened. These are 5-minute candles now. We have the areas that happen. And to take it another step further, and without getting too complicated, we can take a look at the RSI. So this is, again, the RSI is going to coincide. Relative strength index. It's going to coincide with the time frame. So on this time frame here, this would appear as oversold, right? So we hit this resistance, and the market is like, listen, this is a key area of resistance for the right now. And there's a lot of different players in this market, and there's a lot of different things that people are doing. It's just like, when you go out in the world, there's a lot of, everybody's thinking something different, right? So when we look at something like this, and this tells you kind of it's oversold, it doesn't necessarily mean buy, it's going in, buy. It doesn't necessarily mean that. What I would say is that there is something happening clearly within the past number of hours that this is confirmed as a point of resistance. And the RSI actually tells us that. Now, for local support, we can see here on this candle, we have some form of local support here, right? And by local, I mean on a very, very low time frame. We're talking 5 minutes. So anything can happen. So if you are running on a very low time frame, the idea is this would be local support, and this is your RSI, and this is kind of what's happening right now. I don't have a prediction as to where it's going to go. I just kind of look at this, again, it's just analysis. If there's anybody on that's actually watching this live, by all means, ask a question or something. I can see the comments or anything on here. So by all means, let me know. If there's anything that I can improve and make this possibly a little bit more entertaining, that would be cool too. But this is what we have here. The volume, you know, I can almost already see where the volume is. Yeah, right here. So the volume, the high activity for volume in this session is right before this resistance point. So, you know, if we're going to go up, what we need to do is we need to bypass this area. We need to find this area and find support here through, you know, way longer than 5, 10, 20 minutes. And I would say this area is relatively, you know, but look, anything could happen. So you have, when the session opened, we came back to the 2630 area, and recently we came back to the 27. I mean, that's kind of that's pretty significant right there, 2700, and working its way back up. Yeah, that's that. So Bitcoin, oh boy. Okay, so Bitcoin's still trying to find. We're working on finding support and confirmed support here. This white line was produced somewhere in this range and obviously broke it, and you know, it's just sideways, I would say. Bitcoin dominance. Now, the reason why Bitcoin dominance would be going up is because altcoins are selling off, right? And this is really, you know, we're in a, I would say anywhere under this area for Bitcoin dominance is significant. I know there's a lot of talk in the streets about altcoin season and things to that effect. And, you know, all that talk started happening, you know, way back here. And there was a lot of excitement when this thing started plummeting. Let's see, I'm on a 4-hour. There was a lot of excitement around this area, you know, because we were playing in the 60s. I remember we were playing in the 60s for a while, and then it just started plummeting. Okay, market cap, what's happening here? So that whole thing with the $1 trillion plummet, and basically we've gone from the 1.2-ish, 1.25, and we're playing around right now in the 1.6, 1.5 trillion. Again, I mean, charting this might not be the best, but you know, I chart it just for the confluence. Did this on ADA as well. So ADA, it did very, very similar movements. We've talked about the golden pocket, and we are trying to find support at the 0.05. I'm sorry, the 0.5. Drill in. That's what's going on here. What's up with this? Let me see. I need a second. Okay. ADA, steady as she goes here, you know. Again, and the same thing here. I've started trying to put channels. So based on the information that we had previous, or I'm sorry, with this data that we had, I was able to put throw a channel down. So if this was the major downtrend, we're working on getting out of that trend. You know, very similar to Ethereum here. Test the top of that channel, the previous channel. You know, there's a clear test here. Test in the golden pocket and find support, 4-hour candles, run to the upside. Now we're working on trying to find support here. run it in. Session volume, it's probably going to be, you know, yeah, it's right on the line. So session volume for today is right on the 0.05. So again, probabilities. If this goes down, I would say, look, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. But if something was to happen to give this an aggressive downside, you know, you're likely to find support here. Pivots. And these, and, you know, if there was an aggressive movement to the downside, you know, it would look something like this, where it would go bounce, bounce, you know, something like that. Look, I'm not a fortune teller, but these support and resistance levels are important, and it's important to reference, because if you don't have data, what are you doing? We're just kind of making guesses, right? Matic, very similar. I mean, we're, you know, on this, we're looking at the 0.236, found it as support. This is low time frame again. It looks like we've tapped this golden pocket. Found support here. Are we not? Are we going up? Again, these levels are important. You can see how there's clear reactions, whether it's on the upside or the downside. You can see that there's clear reactions to these levels. What did we do here? I may have to fix I may have to fix the Fibonacci's on this one, because I was looking at this earlier. I may have to fix it. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. But this is what's going on with Litecoin. I'd like to actually take a look at Link. I'd like to add Link to this. If you have any suggestions on what to add to this, by all means, let me know. But I'd like to add Link to our list. Chainlink. And again, the reason why whoa, what is this? Crypto DeFi. All right. The reason why I like to use Binance, and you're going to see, like, I use Binance here. The reason why I like to use Binance is because there's a lot of volume there. Binance being one of the being the largest exchange, there's a lot of volume there. Okay, let's go. 4 hours. First things first, I'm going to get into the fibs. Now, since we have quite a lot of data historically, we have a major area of previous resistance and relatively recent support. So and you can see this area was tested as support a number of times. So I would actually take this right here, run it up. I must have taken the trend line thing off of here, but it is what it is. So you've seen on some of these charts, there's some sort of a dotted line, and I like to use it, but sometimes, I mean, it's just not necessary sometimes. So I would say, again, we have a very clear area of resistance back in last year. And when there's been downturns, there's been clear areas of support. This was the run up. So we're talking 2021 here. This was the run up, correction, run back up, support, all-time high, recent sky is falling, and currently on a 4 hour, playing around in here, recently getting rejected in the past 4 hours on this one. But, you know, on a short term, there's still a 10% gain. What else would I look at here? Yeah, I mean, again, support resistance. This is the way that I believe is to think about these things: support resistance, and support resistance flips. So found support on this fib, on the run up, no contest. On the run up again, a little bit of a contest. Found support, tested it again, didn't quite get there. Run up, golden pocket. Played in the golden pocket, rejection, found support on this previous resistance. And you can see we have a lot of volume. There's a lot of volume going on today, guys, in terms of this chart. There's a lot of activity. And overall, there's a lot of activity in the market overall right now. And, you know, I would say, just in my not expert opinion, is there's signs of clear support in critical regions. Our dear friend Dot. Okay, we have a question here. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I figure this out. All right, what are the differences between Kraken, Binance, BTC numbers, and why are they different? Okay, so yeah, when it gets, so here's the deal. If you are looking up DOT or Ethereum, let's just see like Ethereum. Now you have the options on charts, and you have an option on currencies as well. So this is Ethereum to the Canadian dollar. This is Ethereum to Bitcoin. So how much Bitcoin, and this gets real weird, how much Bitcoin Satoshis, how many Satoshis does it cost to buy an Ethereum? So if you can imagine, if you've been in this space for a very long time, and let's just say you have 1 Bitcoin or whatnot, if you use that to get involved in other things, well, you know, this is how many Satoshis it's going to cost. Now, if you're using US dollar, or this would be all US dollar. So, you know, Bitstamp, these are all exchanges. And the way that I like to think about it is there's exchanges that have a lot of volume, and there's exchanges that have less volume. So on this list, and pretty much on any list, Binance is the biggest. So when we're trying to dig into the chart and we're looking at volume, so you can see here, this is Ethereum to Bitcoin. We don't get a lot of information here on volume. You know, like there's not a lot of volume here. Now, if you look at this, you can see a lot of volume. Like when I go here, so another way to think about this too is when you see something like this, key stats, you know, it's going to tell you how much volume it is. You can read into it. You can get into a lot of, oh geez, what did I just do? Oh boy. Welcome to the most dopest, hypest explanations on the planet. Okay, cool. We did it. We did it. Got it. Thank you. Hey, happy to help. So yeah, I mean, I like to use exchanges that have volume because I think one of the most overlooked things in technical analysis is volume. I think it's just in my not expert belief or opinion, you know, volume is very, very much overlooked. Even when, you know, in this space you see talk of, you know, Ethereum is going to go to 10,000. or yeah, whatever it is. Or I think, I heard a question of, someone asked me, do you think ADA will be at the price of Ethereum? And the really simple answer to that is market cap. Market cap is super important, and super important for understanding or having a theory as to where it's going to go in price action. There's another one here. Let's see. Golden pocket, does it stay there for an extended period of time, or what's the relevance? Okay, cool. So back to this. Now, you'll notice a lot of the Fibonacci's that I create, it's always going to be on a higher time frame. And this golden pocket region, the 0.65 and the 0.618, if you do a quick Google search, what you're going to find is that there's a significant, it's a historically, or even, depending on what time frame that you have, it's going to be a major factor as to price action going up or price action going down. Now, look, this isn't the most hypest, most doctor technical analysis description of it, but expect decisions to be made in the golden pocket area, right? And I mean, I guess that's the best way that I could explain it. I mean, just do a quick Google on Fibonacci and how that's relative to charting or technical analysis. And again, look up golden pocket. I wish I could. It's one of these things where I have a difficult time explaining it, but when you do it a lot, it becomes a little bit more intuitive. So let's, how do I do this? So let's do this. I'm going to take this fib off, and I'll try to explain this a little bit better. We'll take this off, and we'll take this off. So with Ethereum here, now we made that previous Fibonacci on this higher time frame. We can also run a Fibonacci right here, just from this area, okay? And what we'll do is we'll go on a 5-minute. Geez. So we can run a Fibonacci from the bottom to the top in just recent. So if you're doing low time frame analysis, you can run a Fibonacci here, right? And what you have is, when we were at this bottom, there was significant resistance. And once we got past this golden pocket on this very, very low time frame, like we're looking at the 23rd, once we got past this region, you see there's like a there was like a battle here. There was a battle, and the market's trying to decide, okay, what are we doing? We're getting out of here? Nope. How about now? We getting out of here? Nope. How about now? Yes. And where did it take us? It took us to the 0.05. I'm sorry, the 0.5. And you can see also when these ranges and levels are tested, and when there's breakouts, the breakouts are very clear. So, you're going to see in the chats, in the crypto chats, like, okay, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. And if you're analyzing this and you're kind of just, putting in the work and the time, what you see is, okay, when we're here, And we don't have any of this data over here. And again, we don't have, like, now we're kind of we're just looking at it in retrospect. But in this move, you would have been able to actually produce some form of a Fibonacci to give yourself some form of data based on the previous action, because this would be from the, this area to here. I mean, you can run Fibonacci's on anything. You can run it on, like just what we're kind of explaining here. So the golden pocket, it was tested as support on the way down, runs up, comes back down. From this point, run up. Are we getting out of here? No. How about now? Yes. Where's the support, right? Testing it. Didn't quite make it back down here. And now we're out of here. I hope that explains it a little bit. But yeah, you can see, and this is just a fib on a very low time frame. And the low time frame is just from here to here. And you can see that we're running back into that area. So on the way down, that bounce, that initial huge bounce in that day, I think it was like a 30% bounce, or maybe even 40% bounce, I don't know. But that initial huge bounce that we had, right? We're back at that area of the huge bounce. Now, that huge bounce, look, we're looking at 4-hour candles. That huge bounce from the bottom to here, and then the rejection, you were able to produce a Fibonacci going that way. So we took the Fibonacci from the most recent bottom to where it is today, and you can see that the things still apply. Now, if we take this off and we went, what do we do? We went, I'm going to go back to 5 minutes, and I'm going to try to make this as least confusing as possible. But if we took, it even from that bounce, so let's just say, on the 19th, when we had that huge bounce, if we produced a Fibonacci from here, oh geez. If we took the Fibonacci from here to here, that gave us data. Or, I'm sorry, the first initial bounce, even just from that day. So let's just say we just took it from this giant bounce here. And mind you, we didn't have any data at all about what's going on into the future. But what you have is clear actions in this golden pocket region. So, and here we are again, back here. So this is just one day on a very, very small time frame. We're on 5-minute candles here. And if you were able to, chart this to this, now we have data. And that data is still relevant today. You can see the action. And then, this is Sunday, when there was a clear test of, and, we had a lower low here. And then these are the reactions right off of those lines. Now, I hope that helps. Perfect. All right, cool. It's a very interesting thing. I mean, the whole thing, and it's a really good question, but I mean, at first, believe me, when I started getting into analysis myself and started deep diving into Fibonacci and all of these things, it's super, super, super confusing. But again, it's the same as anything. Like, the more you put your hands on it, and the more that you try to not confirm your own biases, but to, just put your hands on it and learn, you're going to get better. Just like anything. If you want to be a good runner, or you want to run marathons, or you want to be a good parent, or just all of these things, you want to be a good friend, you want to be helpful to places. I mean, it's, you got to put your hands on it, right? You got to do your 50 hours of homework, and you've got to put your hands on it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get at it, and the more it's going to make sense. And yeah, so what I would like to do is I would like to take a look at VeeFriends. So 820 is, I guess, when I had this set up. 804. So this is what I like to do. And I don't know if people have been looking at this, but I find it very interesting because these are the last of the original VeeFriends on VeeFriends.com. And, the same way that I like to chart, I like to look at kind of what's happening here. The markets in itself, it's super interesting to me. So, the lowest you're looking at 2.5, and green is good. There's that. And then we have Opensea. On Opensea, for anyone that might be looking at this as well, obviously search up VeeFriends, and then I like to look at highest last sale, and you can see what's popping. Like, shout out to this guy, because that's definitely a fan favorite. These goats, 9.29 and 8. So you could expect these goats are going to be holding it down for a while. Patient Pig's going to hold it down for a while. Gary B, huge. Harpic, huge. I mean, these are just, these guys are massive. Forthright Flamingo, that's a sleeper. One thing I was saying about Forthright Flamingo is, so it's a play on words. Well, to me, it's a play on words, right? You have fourth, right, and there's a 4 facing to the right. I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to pick up. And then once they're gone off of the OG, off the site, now we're into the secondary market. So anyone trying to flip up, and myself included, I'm trying to flip up as well. We have to keep an eye on this. We have to keep an eye on this. If you're trying to flip up, we have to keep an eye on these numbers, because what's going to end up happening is, if it goes from, I think yesterday, like, we were teetering on 1,000, maybe 1,200. I don't know, 100%. Like, I don't have, I'm not writing it down. I can't chart it, but we're getting there to the 804, and especially with Ethereum at where it is right now. I mean, we're getting there. And by all means, when we start dipping under the 500s, these things are going to wipe. These things are going to wipe quickly. Let's think about exponential, just in terms of just exponential. While I'm here, I actually want to take a look at the stats. So super interesting stuff that if you haven't looked at it, there's limited in the so the cores are there's a separate, forgive me, because I didn't write it down or anything. I didn't even really expect to talk about this, but there's limited, and then the cores have something else. The other thing that's tracked that you don't see a lot on, I mean, I'm not super versed in NFTs, but one thing that isn't tracked is OG price. You don't see this on NFTs. OG price and OG buyer. And I think that's super interesting for the future, just speculation. But yeah, I don't know how much it makes sense or whatever it is. And I think that's it. I mean, if you've got any questions, comments, hey, shout out to David for coming in and chatting it up. But I think that's it. That's what we got. Have a good day.